There was a time when an emperor ruled in Nuln, and the empire was at peace. But that was long before you were born. Soldiering is the only life you've ever known. Your father was a swordsman in service to the Elector Count of Reichland. By the time you were 15, he was dead, and his sword and armor passed to you. You've lost count of the number of battles you've fought. Some were victories, others defeats. Most were fought over the same barren hills and empty villages, year after year. You rose through the ranks, replacing men who'd fallen along the way. Then came the news of the Chaos invasion. Panicked Reichlanders spoke of the end of the world, and you feared they were right. With the Empire divided, who could stand against Kuhl and his horde? But then a nobleman from the old imperial capital of Nuln stepped into the breach. His name was Magnus, and he called upon the warring Elector Counts to stand as one and drive back the Chaos horde. You expected no one to listen, but this time was different. Magnus's message spread like wildfire across the Empire. Within weeks, you and your company were on the march, joining the growing army as it headed north. Not even a lifetime of battles could prepare you for the nightmare that waited at Kislev. Just when all seemed lost, Magnus and his knights launched a desperate charge against the Chaos Warlord and his bodyguards. Surrounded, you and your men held back the horde until Asavar Kuhl had fallen. It was the company's greatest victory, and its last. By the time the battle was over, you were the only one left. Once the dead were buried, you accepted Magnus's invitation to join his retinue and return with him to Nuln. After the horrors you witnessed at Kislev, defending the Empire from its foes is the only battle worth fighting anymore. The Great War against Chaos had been won, not just through courage and skill at arms, but through the contributions of human battle wizards, hastily trained by Loremaster Teclis and his high elf companions from Ulthuan. By the time the war was over, it was clear to Magnus that for the old world to survive, the winds of magic must be harnessed in service to the Empire. And so, as the army returned to Nuln, plans were laid to gather novice wizards from all across the Empire and create a repository of arcane knowledge that would become the Colleges of Magic at Altdorf. Lord Fenrir has asked you to join the College's most dangerous and ambitious mission to date, a research expedition by the newly founded Amethyst Order to the undead kingdom of Nehekara. The expedition, led by Professor Johannes Dürer, has already reached the Nehekaran city of Bel Aliad. Dürer is preparing to explore the crypt of the priest king Neb Maket. But the expedition is beset by danger on all sides and is in dire need of help. Braving a long and dangerous path, you will join Dürer in Nehekara. Your task is to protect the expedition and help recover any treasures found in Neb Maket.
By Sigma, what a bleak and lifeless place. The sooner I reach the expedition's base camp, the better. arrive.
You must be the mighty champion Lord Finrear promised us. I am Professor Dura, the leader of this expedition.
Captain Vollen, at your service. I had to fight my way across the desert just to reach you, Herr Professor. What kind of cursed land is this, where the dead hunt the living?
That is what we are here to learn. Nehekara is the kingdom of the undead, ruled by dark sorceries we only dimly understand. The Amethyst Order stands to learn a great deal from the Tomb Kings. Now that you are here, their secrets will soon be ours. The base camp here hasn't much to offer, being so far from civilization, but you're welcome to what we have. Return to me as soon as you're ready. There is much work to be done.